welcome. Debra Lynn here in the studio. If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. Today, you guys, I'm going to do something a little bit fun. I'm going to add an ingredient that I've not really shown you guys before that you can put in your watercolor paintings and get unique effects. So what I'm using today is I just got out some cheap Strathmore paper down. I typically will start warming up before I start painting using a inexpensive watercolor paper, and that's what this is me doing. I'm just having fun expressing myself, warming up for painting today, and I thought I would do this quick tutorial for you guys with this unique application that you can use with liquid soap. So what I did was I wet the whole sheet of paper down, evenly distributed water all over the sheet. Now I'm just dropping in a purple paint. Doesn't matter what kind of purple it is. Use your purple that you have. Use your pink or whatever you want to use. Right now I'm using some kind of fuchsia color. I don't even have the colors right next to me at the moment. And I'm just dropping it in. Okay, random. It looks like a hot mess, right? Doesn't matter, because look what's going to happen. I'm going to grab a paintbrush that's got a fine tip to it, because I do not want a lot of this kitchen dishwash to wash the dishes. It's just liquid soap, and I'm just going to put it in that wet paper. And because that paper, that water is just kind of sitting on the surface of the paper, it's not 100% cotton. It's acting a little bit like big pools of paint and water, and then that soap is just pushing that pigment around. And it's causing these really cool like cell effects. So it allows you to give it a very unique texture in your painting, keeping it a little bit more abstract. Now I'm going in and I'm throwing some very bright yellow down. And this yellow with the colors that I'm using, of course, is not going to interact the best, because it's going to make a little bit of a kind of a orangey brown color, and I'm not going to like it. I'm going to probably pick some of that up here in a little bit, and you'll see me doing that. But right now I'm just dropping that yellow down in the shape of those petals again. There's something about doing these, for me anyway, doing these whimsical petals in paint. I just absolutely love doing them. They're a great way to loosen up and get ready for a day of painting, because sometimes we just don't know what we want to do, or we're stuck in a rut, and just doing one of these very expressive pieces is a lot of fun. At least for me it is. I hope it is for you too. So I'm just dropping in more and more of that yellow. It's getting away from me right there, and it's making kind of a weird shape. More of that soap going down. And some more of that purple. Just intensifying this. Now at the very end, after I was done filming this, I did go back in and I did add a little bit more fuchsia and the dark purple into certain areas to intensify it, because as it dried, it just needed an extra level of boost. And I just kind of lightly touched some areas around the painting, and I wasn't filming at the time, so you might see there is a little bit of a difference between when I stopped painting and the actual piece. And right now I am fighting against that soap. And I just kept pushing the pigment and pushing the pigment until it finally took the pigment. Now I am getting my 1-ply paper out. It's an inexpensive 1-ply toilet paper that I like to use. It doesn't have a print on it. If you use a print, it's going to transfer onto your paper. So keep that in mind. Cheap paper is the best. And sometimes it's so transparent that you can actually see when you lay it down in one sheet. You can see exactly where it's going and where you need to press down on the paper also. So there's that weird shaped bloom thing that happened. And I'm going to just go in with my brush and I'm just going to get rid of that area right there. It's not attractive. It looks like a mushroom. And it's an easy fix. 1, 2, 3, it's gone. Because that paper is very wet. So it's easy to change things around. And right there, I'm still getting some resistance. So I'm just going to go in and keep dropping some more of that dark purple down. Just kind of bringing up the volume on everything. Putting in that dark purple where it probably needs a little bit of darkness and shadowy effects. And just to make the petals pop. I'm going in with that pink or fuchsia color, just bumping up the volume a little bit. And sporadically putting a little bit of that pigment into the middle of the center of the flower. And dropping in some more yellow, just trying to increase the intensity. And my water in that top right petal, I dropped some water, so there is a bloom happening right there. Right there. And I end up just kind of running a little bit of paint over it, just so it's not just like this big spot right there where your eye wants to look. So I'm going to diffuse it a little bit with just putting right there, just putting a little line through it, but still embracing it. Now I'm going in with the soap and just kind of pushing things around just a little bit. Now, if the paper is really wet in a certain area, you'll get that whoosh kind of effect. But if it's kind of dry, it's just going to sit there and it's not going to do much. Now, I could have probably pretty much stopped here, put a little bit more emphasis in the middle with the colors I'm working on. But I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to try putting in an extra color, like a blue. And that's not a bad thing, because sometimes we need that extra special pop of color. But this blue, as soon as I put it down, I'm like, I hate it. So I'm picking it up, and it really didn't sit well with me. So you're going to see how I've created a little bit of an issue here for myself and how I'm going to correct it. And right now I'm kind of dropping some of my pigment over the top of it and dumbing it down a little bit. But then I'm going to go back in and I'm going to get a piece of tissue and I'm going to blot it up, all of this pigment that's right in the middle, and I'm going to blot it up, and I'm going to remove it and rebuild it. Now I just throw in some more yellow down because I had just picked it all up. Now I have to put it back down. But this time I'm going to throw in that really bright sunny yellow color as my extra punch of color. And I don't use much of it. It's just that little unexpected, there's another color. And now it wouldn't be a Debra Lynn painting without just a little bit of Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I'm just going to put that down, and it does start to create a little bit of a puddle, so I do have to go in and I do have to remove just a bit of it because it starts doing stuff I don't like. So you always have to keep an eye on your painting and pick up what's acting weird. And if you're not sure what's really acting weird because you're really new to watercolor, you'll learn that as you start to progress in your art. You'll know when things are out of control or not quite right. Really struggling with that center. I should have, that blue really threw me off by throwing that down, so I just have to keep working until I get it figured out. And that's my painting. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick, fun, informative video. Until next time.